the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Mother Georgia, she's back on live, the historic 980 WDDO. All of a sudden, let's go live into the studio with our host, Brenda Sutton.
Hello, hello, hello. I got to check and see why I got this feedback going on. You know, I don't know. You know, sometimes I have to praise the Lord about these cell phones. It's probably Deacon Durong over there doing something he don't have no business with his cell phone that's causing us to get this feedback. How you doing, Deacon Durong?
I'm doing great. I'm always grateful. I'm just trying to do a little last minute marketing here. Just a little last minute marketing is what I'm doing. Won't be long. I'll be done in just a moment.
And now that you're like showing your computer to the audience, look at the picture, Johnny. Can you look at the picture and see? They don't want to see you.
No.
Well, cool. Well, that's because you didn't want the light on that, and then you would look like dark chocolate.
Something. Yeah, caramel.
It's not caramel, it's chocolate.
I'm more partial to caramel.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
So, he telling me top of my head cut off. Let me see. Is my head cut off? It look good now, don't it?
Yeah, you can sling your hair now.
Let's see you low down. What you got to do with me slinging my hair?
I'm just saying, it's one of the characteristics of your kind.
And what that's supposed to mean?
We'll just leave it to
it ain't like you ain't got, you know what? You miss your friend Emily, don't you? For cracking cracks, don't you?
You know what? I saw her the other day promoting some soap. And Jimmy is turning out to be a great spokesperson for her. Yeah.
And so she said, buy soap. I said, Emily, what that mean by soap?
But, her soap, she needs to explain to the kids that come into her place because they'll be sitting over there trying to eat her soap because it looks like candy.
I know it. She got all those things in it, all those little, she got all kind of little nicety things and stuff like that in her soap and stuff like that. It does look like something to eat. Look like you want to just take a bite of it or something, don't it?
Yeah, go ahead and talk to them for me. I got to do something over here.
Go ahead and talk. Well, you know what? There he is. See, he just gonna go in and mess up our ratings because he's gonna go live and mess up everything.
Yeah, tune in too.
I just want to thank my husband, my dear sweet husband, Henry Williams, for sponsoring the show. Thank you so much, Henry Williams. We so appreciate you for taking care of this for us today. We have a very interesting show today. Okay. Our show deals with violence prevention. Okay. And people always talk to me. They say, well, you coming to Macon? We like, yeah, y'all live in Macon? I say, yeah, we live in Macon. They got so much violence in there. I got to carry a gun. I don't understand.
I know exactly what you mean. I'm about to go off Facebook. This is the number that you can call in and participate.
Help him, Lord. Help him, Lord.
And these are all the vehicles that you can see us on.
And if y'all can hear Deacon Do Wrong in the background, that's why we call him Deacon Do Wrong. Number one, you late. Okay. That's number one. You come in late, and then when you're gonna come in, you're gonna take over the show with putting your stuff out there when you should have did that earlier.
I was trying to.
Why didn't you do it?
I didn't have a chance to. I was rushing to get here, unlike Emily, who's not here at all.
I don't know why. But you reckon that new
everybody tune in too.
You look at it. I cannot go and have dead air in there just because you trying to take and solicit your friends to look at you with the cowboy hat. They can't hardly see you no way because you're too dark. You look like a little dot over there because you won't take and put the lights where people can see you.
It is where we can see.
No, they can't. All they can see is that big hat you got on.
Where?
Yeah, that's all they can see is that. I heard that Emily was outside.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Really?
This
is some good stuff that we're going to be talking about today, but I won't get ahead of ourselves. But I'm excited to hear about it because it's about money's being dispersed in the community and trying to help some areas in the community. This is what I'll say right off the top. I've been here. It's not like I've just come here in the last 2 years or something like that. I've been here for quite some time.
Okay.
Success in succession, years in succession. And it seems to me that when I have my ear to the ground, so they say, seems like the same group of people, when monies of this nature come
That's
around,
right.
the same group of organizations and people seem to always be the ones that get in on the money. But our crime rate still keeps going up and all those things. So I'm not saying that they don't deserve any money. I'm saying, but that money needs to be dispersed with a little bit more variety.
And that's one reason why I wanted to make sure, okay, that we put the people on camera, bring them in, who are actually giving out the money. It's $2.5 million.
Yeah, and I hope people, that's why I was doing what I was doing, because I do hope that people will tune in today, all of our regular listeners, and find some new listeners. And they should alert other people who they know are trying to do community work and community services, and people who they know are trying to do their best to bring the numbers down in the killings in this city, and the theft in this city, and just crime in this city overall. I want people to reach out to those people who are involved passionately with this, but they don't have the funding to do a lot of the things that they have as ideas. And so they'll know how to go about it. Because sometimes the reason why they don't get the money is because they just don't know about the money until after the money's gone.
Now that's typically how it goes. The same group of people get the money.
Yep.
They got the same idea, midnight basketball, not throwing shade.
I'm
just an example, but they just do the same program and get the same results, which is not necessarily good results. It may work sometime, but I'm like, what about, it's always somebody in the neighborhood, that one lady that been taking care of the neighborhood all these years. She's doing violence prevention.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know when the grant come out, because we've got some grant pimps, poverty pimps.
Because she's not in the loop.
Because she's not in the loop to get the money. And then, I would hate to spread myself thin and say, I'll help you write it. But a lot of times, I can tell you this, I will help you edit what you write.
Okay.
I will help you edit what you write, because a lot of times you don't know how to write your good idea. And when you're going after these grants, these people want to know. So I thought that's part of the problem. People make it real complicated.
And you know what, Brenda? Some people think that they're underqualified to receive grants, when in actuality, they are qualified to receive them. They just don't know how to go about getting them. They don't get that information. And the people who are in the know, they're certainly not going to pass on the information about how other people can get it, because they want to keep getting more and more and more money themselves. Although they might, and I'm not saying they don't do anything positive. That's not my message. But I also do know, I'm not guessing, I know that some of them get monies and they do some good stuff with it, but they also are benefactors of that money.
I'm gonna give you a good example of a lot of the churches. I'm talking about my church, Greater Turner Tabernacle on 3rd and Hawthorne. Greater Turner Tabernacle. Historic. And I'm giving a shout out. And Stewart Chapel does it too. Both of those, so, they're downtown inner city churches.
Yes.
They always doing something over there for the people in the neighborhood. They got the little hot dogs or whatever, but they're doing some things. But typically when there's grant money, and I hope you do apply for some. When there's grant money, I don't know if they don't apply for it or don't know how to apply for it. I don't know, but I said we know that we have a large listenership. Please have your people turn on the radio.
And get on Facebook, get on YouTube, get on Twitter, get on Periscope, get on LinkedIn, or call us at 478-250-1444. This is going to be an informative show today. And
the other part, because these people, I talked to a young man, shout out, and I got to get his name because he's painting my house, and he talked about his journey. and where he been.
Mm-hmm.
And he has turned his life around. And I asked him, I said, why, he got a good daddy. Daddy, hardworking daddy and things like that. I said, why you started doing some things you did? He said he didn't know, he was bored.
Mm.
Now, sometimes, we have all these big highfalutin ideas and things like that for the, they do it because sometimes they bored, sometimes basketball help them. I don't know. But guess what he does? He writes.
Mm-hmm.
He read and he writes. So now if you are a quote unquote thug or want to be thug in our community, reading and writing ain't what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, you can be real creative with whatever programs that you have, because I just wanted to put it out there because I'm like Johnny, really, Emily, we got the same group of suspects who always get the
grant
money.
Yep.
They are, whenever they, the children on drugs or the children doing this children, they always get the grant money, and you see them in nice cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll go over there to Miss whatever her name is in the community. You know what I'm saying, Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll throw her a pack of hot dogs and some buns.
Yeah.
And she glad to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Where she didn't need them to throw her a pack of hot dogs and buns. What she needed was more financial support to help, with that. And they're not getting that.
Absolutely.
And I have seen people get big grants, and I ain't gonna say no name, get a big grant. They go to these little, the people who are doing the work. They go to them, talk to them, and then they say, well, I need to include you in the grant. They go and include them in the grant. When the grant comes, they get the biggest of the money and they throw them crumbs now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't want to see that. I'm hoping Darius come on. I think I might have told him 5:45 to come on. If our audience are out there listening, y'all need to hit us up in the comment section.
Okay.
What are some of your views on what can prevent murder? What can reduce violence in this community? What do you think can do it outside of police? Outside of police.
I mean, to me, that's such a loaded question. I mean, what can you do to stop people from being violent? What can anybody actually do to stop people from being violent? I mean, think about it. What can you actually do to stop a person from hurting another person?
Well, there are some strategies that are out there. They're called CSEP strategies. I used to do it back in the day. One was alternative events, like give them something to do. Education is another one. A systems change. I'm going to give you an example of how we can stop mess, how you can maybe clean up, help a person keep their record clean. So let's say that they're about 18. And they changed the address, but they got in a little trouble. So they didn't go down to the courthouse to change the address, right? So when it was time to go to court, they didn't know because they sent it to the wrong address.
Okay.
What happens with that? They get a warrant out on them.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they get picked up. See, that's a program within itself. Go and see, can you create something so that you can help people when they help them, educate them to make sure that their addresses are updated. You don't know how many people get in trouble.
Because they don't know the importance of a change of address.
That's right.
Simple stuff.
It's simple stuff. And you say, how does that prevent violence? Once you get some mess on your record, once you go to jail, then you pick up the culture of the people that are
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them that go, I don't care now. I got this on my record now. So what do I care about trying to go straight and narrow?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that when I'm talking about, you said violence prevention, but then Emily, it started when they little. I can remember I did this violence prevention program called Second Step. I went to this school. I asked the little kid, I said, baby, tell me what you do when you get mad at somebody. He said, I throw them out the window. I said, oh, okay. Now you talking pre-K. So you may not be able to do a whole lot with grown people, but you start with them little bitty ones. So if you are already in the mindset of you gonna throw somebody out the window, you gonna hurt somebody when you're a little bit. What happened when you 10, 11? You can put in some parenting programs, for example. How many folk you see laughing at children when they be in bed?
Well, I can't stand that. I've never understood why they think that is so cute, especially women and girls. They think it's cute when the little girls is being grown or fast or sassy, and they I'm like, okay. Give him about 10 more years.
And they're teaching them how to twerk.
Oh,
That too. Because they seeing their mama twerk. And then they be like, look at my baby. Look at my baby.
No, that's not it.
I just shake my head.
This is it. Get a girl. Get a girl. Get a girl. Get a girl. 4 years old. Telling her, get a girl. 5. Get a girl. 6. Get a girl. 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. And then it changes. Okay.
And then not only that, the little boys, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you something. I'm just, because it bothers me.
Hey, I see Power, our co-founder and
Power Light. Hey, Teresa, what's up? And the kind of thing she do, y'all do a lot of good things with Power Life.
Oh yeah.
I'm
and we're registered here in the state of Georgia, and that's one of the things I wanted to ask Darius, Mr. Maynard about was there something could we? Because I am a member and I'm a Georgia resident, Macon resident, and I'm just wondering, I'm the board member there, and I'm wondering is there a way that we can get on it? Because the founder of the Power of Life is a policeman, and Noble, that police organization, helps us wherever we go. Mm-hmm. So there could be a great marriage and exchange of ideas through their policing and our policing, because everything helps, everything that's counter violence and counter crime helps. And we certainly hope that this is something that will happen and manifest itself in a great way. But we really want everybody to get everybody to listen to our call today from Mr. Maynard.
I'm just hoping that we'll be able to address this today.
Yeah, I know it's gone viral.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we have a photo of one of our hosts here.
I'm waiting on Mr.
Not named Emily. I'm Al Johnny.
Right. Let's clarify.
Yeah. Okay, so we hope that everybody is having a great day. I know that I just want to, I'm a former participant in athletics, but I know Macon schools were involved in the playoffs this week, so go Macon. Yeah, go Macon.
I do think that one of the things that we could do to try to keep the youth involved is, keep the youth out of trouble, is get them involved in something. I know Jimmy was involved in music, in the band, and all of that when he was in middle school and high school. And if they really involved, they don't have time to do anything else. I mean, he was at band practice every evening. I picked him up. He may have had, I think he played with the Macon Symphony Orchestra, youth orchestra, something like that. And so he was from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, where there was no time. And all his downtime was spent studying, eating, or sleeping, because he didn't have time to do anything else. Yeah. So I think that's important. And it doesn't have to be sports. A lot of times we force them into sports, and they end up, as they get a little bit older, they realize they don't really like it. They were just doing it because mom and dad told them to do it when they were younger. And then they have this idle time, and they start getting into trouble. So whatever your child has interest in, put energy into that. Put your time, your focus, your money, put that, into that specific thing, and give them the opportunity to let that grow. And, grow into something that'll definitely keep them preoccupied off the streets.
Now, what Mr. Jackson need to do is to bring on our guests.
Yeah, because like Brenda changed her ambitions, and she went over. She exited her dream,
her boudoir,
of modeling career.
Yes,
she changed directions and started working in government.
How y'all go from violence prevention to this?
The same way y'all ate me up, a couple of weeks ago. So I told you
about the flowers.
Yeah, about the flowers. That ain't got nothing to do with
but this will prevent some violence. I believe it will prevent violence.
How so?
I think one guy takes a look at that, and that may just calm him down. He may, have to go
have a come to Jesus moment.
Right.
Exactly. So low down.
So, when we have our hosts that do boudoir shoots, and with the black stockings and the bosom and the nice spiky hair. It says a lot.
Hey Darius, you know what? You need to get me. You need to save me because they coming for me. You see what they done
Matter
did?
of fact, we're gonna hang up on you. We need another minute just to roast Brenda.
Now, hey, from Ella. Hey, Steve. No,
Put
we
him
don't.
back.
Put him back on there. Emily just like messing with her.
I'm just joking.
She just joking. Hey, Darius, what's up?
Sister Brenda, good evening to everybody. I see that photo out there.
Don't you let these folks suck you in.
Yeah, the internet is gonna go down tonight.
Yes.
You broke the internet, they said.
Yeah.
Yes.
How you doing, Mr. Maynard?
I'm feeling hopeful.
There you go.
You feeling hopeful? Tell us about this money. You said you got 2.5 what?
$2.5 million. I don't have it, but the Community Foundation has $2.5 million.
What foundation?
The Community Foundation.
Okay.
And tell me how this is for grants to prevent violence, correct?
That's correct. So the county has a number of initiatives out there right now to prevent and reduce violent crime here in Macon-Bibb County. So as you all heard or probably have already seen, under the umbrella of Macon Violence Prevention, we have Macon Mental Health Matters, Blight Fight, Clean Street Matters, all things that help deal with the root causes of violence. So they work towards the stem, getting down to what the root causes are and trying to eradicate those and fix them there so that we can initially rid our community of those issues. And
So I want to go back. So you say you've got Mental Health Matters because we've had Andrea Cook on to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
And Blight, what about the Blight piece?
Blight Fight. So that's the initiative that the county is doing, knocking down all those blighted structures in neighborhoods and commercial buildings and things of that nature.
Okay. And then keep making clean.
Clean Street Matters. So, they'll have those weekend days where communities come together and basically clean up their neighborhoods, picking up trash, cutting grass, things of that nature.
So how is this money going to be dispersed? What are the qualifications to receive this money?
Okay. So really, there's only two real qualifications. Number one is that you must be a faith-based organization or a 501c3 nonprofit. All right. Faith-based organization includes churches, synagogues, things of that nature.
And registered in the state of Georgia?
Well, and that's number two. You must also be a organization that is based here in Macon, Georgia.
Okay. Based in Macon.
Based in Macon. It means your physical address, your mailing address is based here in Macon, Georgia.
Okay.
All right. And then the work, if you are awarded a grant from this program, you must also do that work here in Macon, Georgia.
Right.
You can't go to outside counties.
Sure. Right. Makes sense to me.
Yep.
Okay, now you say faith-based because I know some churches who may not be 501c3s. Okay, but they're churches and they're operating in the community. So you're saying that they can write for, I have a little church in mind right now, that they can actually write for this grant, correct?
Correct. So technically under the IRS, churches are considered charitable entities. So most of them fall under the 501c3 umbrella. So they're able to
do.
Even though they don't have the official paperwork saying they're 501c3, they can still do it.
Exactly, but they do have
tax
exempt.
Okay, I got
some documents. Yes, they are tax exempt, so they have some document from the IRS saying exactly that.
Okay, so tell me the process that you have for applying for that grant.
Okay, so last week we hosted 3 virtual sessions.
Tell me the process.
That was Brenda.
Okay, I thought it was over here. So last week we hosted 3 virtual sessions or 3 orientations that gave an overview of the entire program. So we looked first at the Macon Violence Prevention Strategic Plan, but most importantly, the community-led strategies. There are 6 community-led strategies in that strategic plan, which build the foundation of this grant program. Okay, so
what are those strategies?
Those strategies are improving Macon-Bibb's education system from early childhood through adult education. Number 2, investing in mental health resources and consumer participation. Number 3, providing more supervised activities for youth. Number 4, providing support, education, and accountability for parents. Y'all were just talking about that, I think, early on before I got on. Number 5, providing more resources to intervene in situations involving domestic violence. And then number 6, increasing access to transportation.
So how is that money to be? Let's say you give one of these groups in Macon, they get $200,000, right? So
Right.
how much of that money? I mean, do you all keep track of how they spend that money?
Yes. So, well, let me go ahead and just pop this one real quick. It's very unlikely that one organization will get that much money.
But I'm okay if they get $25,000.
Right, right.
How are you? What do you do? This is public money, right?
Correct.
So anyone in the public should be able to pull up records and find out, well, how did that group that you gave $25,000, how did they spend it? Should any citizen be able to find out how did they really spend that money?
So we will have evaluation metrics in place. So what will happen is that over the course of this grant period, if someone is awarded $25,000, they will meet with us quarterly and provide quarterly updates so that we'll know exactly how their project is going. Because sometimes, we may be set down a path and find that that's not the best path to go. And so we may have to do some readjustments. So that quarterly update will provide them that opportunity to meet with us and keep us afloat of what's going on.
No, I don't mean you, us. I mean us. I mean, will the community be able to know how that money is being spent?
Oh, yeah, we're going to, yeah, of course. So we're going to list all the organizations that receive funding. That's going to be publicized through our social media. I'm sure.
And where would that site be that we can find how you all are keeping track of how the money is spent, so that any community person can go say, well, I know that group over there got $10,000. So how can I go and find out how they spent the $10,000?
So you can go to, I'm sure you can get it to Macon-Bibb County's website. You can also look at the Community Foundation of Central Georgia's website.
Now, I hear you. I'm excited about this money. I wanted to make sure, we've got a lot of listeners, Emily. We got a bunch of them. And we're always talking about, well, what we're going to do about violence. Well, this is your opportunity to go and do something.
Yeah.
I mean, this is your opportunity, mine and anybody else's who really have a passion for it. Now, help me understand, if I'm not a 501c3 and I'm that lady in the neighborhood that have been providing for the children, because can't I partner with a 501c3?
Most certainly.
This grant?
Most certainly.
Help me understand. Go ahead.
You, Miss Brenda, let's say you're that woman out in the community and you don't have a 501c3. You have 2 options. You can either partner with a nonprofit organization or you can partner with a church. And what will happen is that you will enter into a fiscal sponsor agreement with that organization. And basically they will manage all the funds for you.
Okay.
But you would carry out the work. You would make sure that the work is getting done. And then you all will basically be in a partnership or agreement. And then they'll handle it, like you'll report back to them, they report back to us and things of that nature.
So, like, for instance, you can't go out there and buy a building with this money.
That's correct.
You can't go out there and buy you a van with this money. Now, there's some people who think that. They say, man, I'm going to go and make, you don't make money off a grant. You can't open up no business with a grant. You can't do that.
Not with this program. We have had that question. You can't, not with this program.
No, I put it out there, Darius, because I'm serious. People think that they can just do all these things, do what you want to do. Whatever you put on that piece of paper is what you're supposed to do now.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
And what happens if they don't? What happens if they don't spend the money the way it's supposed to be spent, or they don't do what they said they were going to do with the money?
And remember, Emily, that's another thing. I hope you remember what she said. So with the community, well, we know what this group that came to you and got the money said they wanted it for. Will we, with the average citizen, know, okay, well, group A went to you guys and said, we want to do this project and it's going to cost $10,000. Will we be able to know what they asked for the money for?
Hold on. Let me go back to Emily real quick.
Go ahead.
Questions. So Emily, going to what happens if they don't? That's what the quarterly updates are for. So all the money won't be awarded to them at one time. So those metrics. So when we're meeting with us, okay, they say, all right, we're doing things, and we agree they're doing the right thing. They're making progress. We'll unlock the second payment.
Mm-hmm.
Next quarterly update, they're still doing the right thing, we'll unlock the third payment. Let's say they didn't do the right thing, we'll see what's wrong, how to fix it, and if we don't need to release any more money, then we'll entertain that, figure out what we need to do from there. But all the
So
funds
there
go
is
through.
no legally, is there like, can they get in trouble, prison time? Like, what actually happens if a grant money is awarded to someone and they actually don't do what they said they were going to do? Is there really anything that you can do or that the organization can do that awarded the money?
We can certainly rescind the grant. And also, to be clear, there will be a grant agreement that has to be signed saying that I agree to do this. That's
Mm-hmm.
legally binding agreement. And
Mm-hmm.
so once they step outside of that, then we have to pursue whatever options we have to pursue.
But
we have not run into an issue, and I don't think we're going to run into an issue to where an organization is funded and they don't do what they said they're going to do.
Well, I kind of wanted to bring up too, and I alluded to it at the beginning. I don't know if you heard us in the beginning of the show, that sometimes people have a really, really good idea, Darius, but they don't know how to articulate or translate that idea onto paper.
Yes.
Right.
While
That
I
would
won't
be a grant writer, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's some people out there, I'll get a grant writer. Now, this ain't the kind of program you get a grant writer on, because the grant writer requires a lot of money. And this particular grant is not going to pay for a grant writer, correct?
That's correct. So that would be money that you have to put out on the front end. However, if you're not good at articulating your ideas into words or on paper, I would recommend getting a grant writer. Just know that grant writer won't be funded out of this grant, because there will be some upfront costs that you will have to cover. And in addition to that, we're also offering what we call office hours between the hours of 12 and 4 on Monday through Thursday. So for 15 minutes, applicants can go to our website and schedule a 15-minute session with me to discuss their idea.
Oh, wow.
Now, I'm not going to do the application for them, but we can talk to the idea to make sure that they're on the right track and things of that nature. They can get any question they want to get answered.
Okay, Darius, can you take and put your can you go ahead and
Put your information.
put your information in the comment box?
Now, what is it? This ain't Zoom.
Oh, that's right.
Zoom.
They're not going to get either.
So is he live on Facebook? Or
You know what? You live on Facebook. I'll get we'll put it out there so that people can get your phone number. Can you Emily, can you type it in the comment what his phone number is? If you give it to us? Your office number? Oh, there he goes. He just put something in there. There it is right there.
Did that come through to y'all? Okay.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I guess you figured out by now, my questions are really personal, because I'm a Macon boy, and I went to, Eugenia Hamilton. I went to Pearl Stevens, and then I went to Central High School, and my brothers and my family, and so I'm really vested in this city, and I hear, and I see. I'm 61 years old. I'm not, but been around here a while, and I pay attention, and I know for a fact that over the years there's been a great practice of people getting monies for things of nature and illuminated themselves in the process with those same monies. So if people are going to sit around and pretend that everybody that ever got money for these same kind of purposes didn't use some of that money to illuminate themselves, they are just lying. So that's why I say it is critical now, as far as I can see. Like the way this world is going now, these things are critical. These are not just things we want anymore. This is getting to be life or death situations. We just look at the temperature of the world in general. Look at Ukraine and all that stuff, and just how people treat people today. This is important, and it is not time for people who have gotten into nonprofits or gotten nonprofits to say, well, the people 10, 20 years ago, this is how they build themselves up, and we know they were playing that game, and we're going to play the game too. Don't get mad with me and say anything when they were doing it. It is not time for them to even score. It is time for us to be about the business of what this money is supposed to be for. So that's where I'm coming from.
No, I understand completely. I'm a Macon boy as well. Born and
Yeah.
raised, graduated Westside High School. Grew up in Bloomfield. Still live in Bloomfield. So I understand exactly what you're talking about and where you're coming from. Matter of fact, I eat Anderson's Diner every Sunday.
There you go.
But I wanted to bring it out because we do have a large group of people. Emily, we got a huge group of people that listen. And the first thing they say, I didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Didn't nobody tell me about it. By the time I found out about it, the money was all gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, now I'm putting it out there. I want people to know if you've got a church, it don't have to be it ain't got to be one of the big churches right here. It can be a small church. Apply for it. Now you got to do whatever it is that you say you're going to do, but also understand, sometimes, Darius, violence prevention is so diverse and so complicated. Emily alluded to, it can be, teaching kids music. I met a young man who was, I call him a little thug, but he liked to write and read. Okay. That's violence prevention, not necessarily that, but those type of programs that encourage, people to explore things that they really enjoy that are different. You ain't got to take them to a basketball game or football game all the time. You could do some different kinds of programming with them.
Yeah.
Violence prevention with them literature, and them literature fight all the time in school. That's why they fight when they get older.
Yeah.
But really, they learn how to fight from grown people.
Mm-hmm. But I just want to see these neighborhoods be self-empowering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see the same group that's been getting all the grants that are privy to more knowledge. And then I know that a practice that goes on is that there's been a few groups that have been getting grants and they've been illuminated as they got the grants. And then they'll go to others, 501s, or some people who are just starting out that don't know that they got the same right to walk up to your office as they do. And so they'll go to them and make them subsidiaries of their grant. Or if you join with me, then, you don't go in on your own, because if you go in on your own, you might not get it. But since I've already been getting them, I can pull you in, and then I can, people need to know that they have the same right to come to you as any other 501 if they meet all those qualifications that you mentioned.
And let me put this out there as well. So, like I said, last week we had the 3 orientation sessions, and that was recorded, going to be posted on the website as well. We had over 200 people, individuals, to attend those 3 sessions combined. And I guarantee you, more than 75% of those people were organizations that I didn't even know existed here.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But that's a key thing, and that's important. That's important that we realize, that we recognize and know that those organizations are here so that we can know how to strategically build these communities up. And so
self-empower.
Another thing, Ms. Brenda, what you were talking about, that's big on this program is collaboration and partnership. When we realize that we are stronger together, and I'm not trying to be political here, we are stronger together. We're better together. So when we combine our resources, we can do more. I think one of the things that we run into is that, as you were just talking about, Mr. Holingshed, was, come to me. Everybody come to me. Let me get everything, and y'all work with me. There are some organizations that have the ability to do what that organization can do.
Yep.
There's also many more organizations out there that are closer to the problem than that organization was.
That's right.
And those who are closer to the problem are most likely the ones to come up with the solution to that problem.
See, and then too, one of the things I know for working in the neighborhood is that people don't trust all those folks. And I'm just saying, it's nothing wrong with being in, quote unquote, I call it like a certain type of organization. Like I call it like really big organizations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the people that like everyday people even trust them people. You come into the neighborhood and you go say, I'm going to tell you what to do. You meet a lot of resistance with that. I like what you said is that people need to trust the folk who are delivering these programs.
So they say, you don't even live around here.
There you go.
So that's why it's so important for the commissioners, just like they're a conduit with the
There
mayor.
you go. There you go.
But they are. They're conduits for the mayor. If they take care of their area, then their area will feel more confident about their. They don't want the mayor sometimes to be the one come. They want their commissioner to tell the mayor what our problem is.
And
That's
yeah.
what I want. I want that money to be spread out. I want to build a kingpin of the nonprofit organizations around here, because it's like you say, 75 more groups that you didn't even know about. Self-empower those people in that neighborhood instead of giving all the money to 2 or 3 different nonprofits that put all these other nonprofits under their umbrella. And that's what I see happening.
And another way that we're empowering these organizations is that with that 2.5 million, a portion of that is going to some internal structure development trainings. And so
like
a lot of times we're seeing that organizations don't have the finances in order. They don't have the internal structure in place. And so what we're going to do is provide some nonprofit management trainings that will go over budgets, that will go over organizational
Excellent.
development.
That's what I'm talking about.
Things of that nature. And so a portion of that 2.5, all that isn't going to grants. Some of that is going toward funding these trainings for these organizations.
Oh, that's awesome.
Beautiful.
That's
those
awesome.
organizations that are denied and those who are awarded can take part in those trainings. And so what we want to see, I'm sorry, a little natty here. What we want to see are those organizations start building up and getting better, because this isn't the only pool of money in the world.
Right.
Okay. Everybody in this community is competing for this pool of money. But I want them to be able to, know that there are other pools of money around the country that they can get their stuff in order for and be better, and can go and apply and get that money as well.
I like that.
That's
awesome.
music to my ears.
Yeah,
because it's addressing what I'm so concerned about, is that I know that there are just groups around here, because they don't have the knowledge that you all are offering now. They keep being under the umbrella of 2 or 3 different groups.
Mm-hmm.
And that shouldn't be, because they can't self-empower themselves that way by keep depending on, well, I'm not going to do the work because Joe over there knows, and I'll just go ask Joe.
It's an esteem thing.
I love it.
It's a self-esteem thing, in that we have made in Macon, we have one group of usual suspects. You didn't hear this. Darius, you close your ear because you ain't in this conversation. But we got one group of usual suspects in Macon who get all the money. When they don't get all the money, then all the rest of us is they in cahoots. They this, they that, they white folk lover. They yeah, I said it.
They love you.
Darius, don't you dare laugh. You better not laugh. You better not laugh, Mr. Deacon do wrong. But we do, and so what ends up happening is, there's some definitions going on in there. There's some folk who's going to think right now that this 2.5 is not for the white community, and that is not true. They got violence in the white community.
Absolutely.
So don't think it's just for Emily. No, it's a different kind now. They cut up. Oh, wait a minute. She talking about name the usual suspects.
Wait till I leave.
That's Andrea Cook.
Andrea Cook, we love you. We love you talking about mental health matters, because that's some serious stuff right there.
Name the suspects. I'm with Andrea.
I am not going to name the suspects because I get beat up in the parking lot.
And we're just glad to have Brother Maynard and Sister Cook on today.
You know what though? But the way he's talking, see, I've never, and I just so you know, I have never had anybody present the way that he has about a grand opportunity here in Middle Georgia. Typically, it don't even come out like this. Now, I'm just saying what I say.
Well, I usually hear people say, I didn't even know they were doing that. And I'm proud that you guys are illuminating this information as you are. It needed to be done.
And then,
but in a way, though, I mean, it could go either way. Part of me is glad that he's here, that he's, putting the information out there, but it also makes sense. Everybody can't have this information, because if they get flooded with 10,000 applications, they can't go through 10,000 BS. What do you call it?
Yes, they can. They just have to cut down on their lunchtime.
You can't be eating them biscuits. You can't be eating biscuits and
Can't keep having all those luncheons.
I mean, you see what I'm saying?
They got time for 3-hour lunches.
It's like if everybody knows that the money is available, then everybody's gonna have a harebrained idea of what they want to do.
Mr.
And
Maynard,
it's gonna
Emily's from Texas.
what I'm saying is, hear me out. What I am saying is that you want to take your time and actually work with people.
Don't fool with
Listen to what I'm saying.
She should have.
Okay, so you understand where I'm coming from.
Visiting time.
Okay, so let me get my point out. My point is that you don't have time to sit through 10,000 applications of people that just decided, oh, there's $2.5 million available. Let me go see if I can start a nonprofit organization. Let me go see if I can get some of this money. You want to deal with people that actually have a basis for their nonprofit or the 501c3, somebody that has a real legitimate idea that's actually going to help the community. So it's a good thing that everybody doesn't know, because you know how we are as a community. When we have free money, everybody wants to try to get the free money. So on one hand, you want to be glad that everybody doesn't know. On the other hand, this actually helps you guys out, be able to send the money in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. And, you know,
Emily's from Texas.
What they got to do with anything?
You know what though? Hey Darius, Mr. Maynard, I will be glad to be one of your grant review some grants for you if you choose to let me do that.
Don't let it. We'll have fried chicken every Sunday at church.
I don't mind.
That's part of the grant.
I will say this. This is a significant opportunity for us to do things right, I'll say. And you know, you just mentioned.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
I should go out and he comments or something else. I should go out and start a nonprofit. That's not the answer.
But what they can do though, is to what they can do is partner with somebody. Because I just want to, because some people may have a really good idea and may not know how to do it. But what they can do is get with, say, their own church, get with your pastor. If you trust your pastor. Now, you know, you may not trust your pastor, but, you know, get with somebody that you can trust who has a 501c3 and present your idea. But let me just put this out here because I know we wind down on time. When you write your grant, okay, spell the words right. Because that's one of the first things that'll get your grant put in. I'm not going to fund your grant pile over here.
So as grandma used to say, dot your I's and cross your T's.
That's right.
Yeah.
And do your work. You know, do the work. I mean, if you're going to do, it's a problem. You got a problem statement in the beginning, don't you, Darius?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. And so you need to, in that problem statement, you need to be able to articulate what the issue is, you know, and so you, that means that they may have to do a little homework, talk to the sheriff or whatever they need to do and collect this information. But you said they have 15 minutes that they can talk to you. Y'all need to, you know, Darius, this is really, really good stuff. Mm-hmm. They can set up an appointment with you and talk to you for 15 minutes and throw the idea out there even before they start doing the work. Am I correct?
That's correct.
It don't get any better than that.
I love it.
They can start doing that right now.
I love it.
You know, reach out to them.
I'm going to call you in a few minutes.
And,
you know,
and I love me some Emily Amos, but again, if it's, I'm trying to get rid of, like if there's a successful group that's been doing stuff in South Macon, but upstarts in Bloomfield that meet all the qualifications, and all they needed was what you just mentioned a minute ago. You all are going to do training. So, and if what they were missing was training, then wow, wouldn't it be better for the foundation that's in Bloomfield to be more aware and more helpful because they live in that situation, and let the South Macon folks help the South Macon folks? And I think it's a great thing that there are multiple choices in multiple neighborhoods and with multiple concerns. sir.
One thing that I've kept
I do, and
saying is that one person cannot solve the issue of violent crime alone.
Right.
Mhm.
And so with this program, I want to make it very clear. We're not asking you to do that. We're not asking you, if you are a team of 2 people, we're not asking you to implement all these, grand things that will help reduce violent crime. We want you all to think about your capability as well.
and and I think sometimes they try to make it more complicated. Let's say they've got an after-school program. They can't, and I'm just saying hypothetically. I'm not saying he's going to fund it, but that would be something to think about. You've got an after-school program. You've been having the children come on your front porch. You may have 10 or 15 kids from your neighborhood, and what y'all do is come on and these some dirty low-down people right here, and they come on and they read books in the afternoon. The little kids. That's a grant, correct?
That's a possibility.
That's a possibility of
It's
a grant.
possibility, and he laughed at it. So let's move on.
I laugh because of the picture. I got a little thrown off.
As well, you should.
Yeah, we should start calling people and tell them the internet will crash tonight.
Yes.
I
Miss
want
Brown said, "Oh, we Miss Brenda. Oh, we Miss Brenda."
Darius, you may want to tell him to take you on off. Listen, before we go and have a little fun, before we hang up, I want to make sure he dirty and low down. I want to make sure that people understand how they can tap into you, which they could, we've given them. Mr. Jackson, can you post information up there again on how to get in touch with Darius?
It's his organization and
his organization.
I agree, Miss Brown. I agree.
So what I want to let you know is that there is, instead of just talking about it, you're able, see, he had to go. Oh, instead of just talking about it, you're able to do something about it. See, to me, we do a whole lot of talking here in Macon. It's always, just what they gonna do. What they gonna do. This is an opportunity for you to do something. And you cannot say it's because I don't have the resources. You gotta work. If you don't work, you don't eat. You've got to write for it. The people just not gonna throw money at you.
And I've been here long enough to be qualified to say that I've been watching the same group of folk be at the forefront of solving the problems for at least the past 40 years. And look at where we are with our crime. Look at our reputation across the country. Look at just our schools, everything. So I'm not against having some new folk take a shot at it. And I'm not saying that everybody who has been participating in trying to solve the problem are not doing a good job. But some of the, it's some good players on that team, but some of those some weak links somewhere, and we need to replace those weak links with some new blood or something.
I'm gonna give you an example. Second Step Violence Prevention Program. I think they're still using Second Step. It's got a pre and post test where you can teach the children how to manage conflict. You think them little children, like in first, second, and third grade, they got a whole different dynamic going on. It's called social media. Them children text and carry on all during the week. And they wait until Friday, and they go and they start fighting like windmills, doing like this fight,
Oh, you know that move very well.
You so low down.
But I'm certainly going to personally be reaching out to you so that I can educate myself and have correct information.
You hear that, host?
And correct. No, I want to be able to pass on correct information to people when I speak to people. So I will come see you, okay?
Please.
Johnny down to the last $2.
I think that, so this is my conclusion here. Okay. I would just like to thank the mayor and commission for giving the community this opportunity.
Absolutely.
To do this,
absolutely,
to bring our ideas forward and get the funding if that's available to implement those ideas. Again, we all know what the issues are.
We do.
They are. And I want to overemphasize, I'm going to keep emphasizing it, is that we're stronger and better together.
Absolutely.
But thank you, Darius. We appreciate you.
Hey, Darius, I do want you to know before you go, that people have this long time saying, said it is better to teach a person how to fish than it is to give them a fish.
Mhm.
And that's the way I'm looking at when you said that you all are going to offer these classes on how to go about things is, to me, much more important than what's being practiced in years past of just giving folk money and then not educating the other ones on how to get it. Thank you all for that.
Thank you, Darius.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much for
appreciate
having me. Y'all keep having fun.
That's what we
You
do.
got
what we
you
do.
got to put a little sugar in the medicine. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you so much, Darius.
All right, I'll see y'all at Anderson soon.
There you go, brother.
All right, thank
You
y'all.
come out to Granny's too, you know.
No, I do. I'm hard
Yeah, I
to
know.
breathe.
I'll see you later, man.
All right.
Okay.
You know, that was a good show.
It
Even though y'all were
was.
picking me, but that was good. And what I learned, and I didn't know that they were offering classes on, you know, like basically it's program management, and that's huge.
That's the
Because-
best news I got out of it.
Me,
Yeah.
you know, because even
Yeah.
if you don't get the grant, you need to know why you didn't get it. Some
Right.
people don't know how to put together a budget.
Yeah, because some people like, you know, colonizers is like Brenda, you know, such as
Yeah, yeah,
herself, they get privy to that information and we don't, you know, and
see,
so
that's been my biggest point.
What you talking
is
about? The dark
no,
skins?
let me-
You
Brenda,
ain't dark
no,
skinned
Brenda,
you
yourself.
are a
Brenda,
colonizer
Brenda,
and that's
but
okay.
her point is on point.
Uh-uh.
Yes, it is, because as the information got passed along to a few black folk, then a few black folk didn't pass it on to all black folk.
Right.
They kept the information for themselves.
Would that be
and
the
then
house? Would that be the house?
But
Mhm.
I'm serious as I can be. So that's
Look
what's
at that
been
hair. Look how
happening.
that hair flowing.
That's what's
That's a
been
hair
happening
fly.
around here. So you got a few brothers or sisters in the know, but then they don't. They say, "Well, I'm gonna." So what I'll do, since I'm not gonna tell them, I'll under my umbrella.
Mhm.
When they could have had their own umbrellas. And that's all I want people to do is have their own umbrellas. And if the only thing keeping them from having their own umbrellas in their own neighborhood is what he just offered as an antidote, educating them.
That
is so
and I'm going to
important.
tell you, I've written grants. I've written grants before, and I've gotten, you know, I've got some nice.
Were you
chunks.
wearing leopard when you wrote those? I'm just curious. I'm just asking, you know.
You know, that's just low down. That's just low down.
I was just curious. You know, sometimes it helps the creative process.
I've been trying.
You know, bright colors. Hey, bright colors help me think. But so I just was wondering if leopard just brings a out of you.
You know what? Emily real dirty and low down. She real dirty.
mean, you know.
You're real dirty and low down. But
And thank you, Anthony, for your comments. Shirley for your comments. Miss Brown. Everybody that tuned in and listened.
Andrea,
yeah.
And we had Teresa from Tallahassee, Florida on with
Hey
us
Teresa,
today.
we really love Andrea Cook. Mental health matters. Understand? Mental health matters.
Yes, and you probably could have used some when you were taking these pictures. But
Is this posted?
we'll table that.
You know what? Don't y'all be laughing at Emily and them. I'm curious about the budget piece, because if you don't keep up with the money, you have to keep up with the money.
And that's what.
And that's why I wanted to make sure that people understood. No, you can't go out there and buy any capital with. You can't go out and buy all that stuff.
We got to give a big shout out, a big shout out to my man, Attorney Henry E. Williams.
Attorney at law.
I love him. He's so sweet. Isn't he the nicest guy?
Don't mess this up.
I ain't gonna mess it up.
Anthony.
I'm talking about, wasn't everybody want to be a hot? Who's a hot girl? Who you talking about? Anthony, you stepped in it. Right?
I mean, you know, Brenda, that picture screams hot girl. Hot girl summer.
But
it's obvious. It's
but
obvious to me.
they's married now.
Yeah.
I've got a husband, so them pictures must help.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Hey, thank everybody
We love
for
you
tuning
guys.
in. And we're gonna always try to be informative
Absolutely.
and-
Next Monday.
and silly.
You know, somebody said that they wanted to talk about family. scenes again. I went back and it was like, y'all, you know, we were talking about them family
Skeleton in
your closet.
Mhm.
Emily, you got a
6:30.
skeleton?
All of a sudden, with your host, Brenda Sutton. That's every Monday. We'll see you there.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM.